I think I was 12 years old when I started drinking, smoking weed, and then it moved on. I think I did coke the first time, 14, smoked crack at 15, pain pills, ended up shooting heroin, selling drugs. Oddly, mostly stayed out of trouble until I was about 27. Then I went to prison the first time. I committed a robbery, went to prison, got out, was only out 9.5 months, and went back to prison for 10 years. Selling drugs, possession of a firearm, those types of things. So living like a criminal is how I was living. And when I went back into prison, especially the second time, I'd really given up on myself, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. I mean, to the point I got like this "do not resuscitate" tattooed on my chest because I didn't want to live anymore. I didn't want to wake up for years and years. I was just tired of living. I was tired of being me. The only belief I had in God was anger at God. The only prayers I prayed to God was to stop waking up. I just didn't want to live anymore. I was in bad shape, still doing drugs all through prison, and I got out July the 1st, 2024, went straight to the Suboxone doctor, so just trading one drug for another one, and then was smoking crack, ended up back locked up, and just was a lot of desperation. I felt broken, ugly, worthless. I didn't like myself. I didn't like my life. And of course, how can you think anything of a creator of you when your whole life is miserable? And there's just a lot of anger. Of course, I have this muscular dystrophy. So with my hands and just my feet and the way I walk, I'm missing probably 50% of the muscle beneath my elbows and knees. It just felt broken. Just a broken, physically, mentally, spiritually person. Man, I've hit so many bottoms. Every time it's like people say rock bottom, and man, I've got some dynamite for that. You know, like I can always go lower. But the one that got me here was, like I said, I had done a 10-year sentence, man. And right after doing a 5-year sentence, and then I wasn't on the street for 2 months, and I was arrested again, getting high, and I was sitting in the jail. And honestly, what led me here, maybe it was less of a bottom and more of hope. As I was in the jail this time, and I've always been very, very, like, I mean, you've tried to talk God to me and my hackles would go up. Like, I just want to lash back at it. But I was sitting in the jail, man, and there were some good guys around me, and they had hope. They were doing prayer groups, and I started realizing, man, like, even if I can't understand it, I want that. And then my mom had told me on the phone, and she brought up Eagles Nest, and said, my uncle had found this place and it's faith-based, and I instantly, honestly, my hackles went up. I was like, nah, that ain't gonna work to me. It's not gonna work. But then after a week of sitting there thinking about it, and what I really realized is that I knew I needed help. And then I started, well, if I'm gonna get help, I need real help. I need to be as serious about getting help as I was about screwing my life up. And this place being so far away, I'm from the north side of Richmond. And so it helped to know that I'd go somewhere and couldn't just walk out and go get drugs. I knew from talking to people, a lot of other rehabs are just kind of cattle through the gate rehabs. I've heard of friends going to places, and I'm not going to mention them by name, but most of the other places, friends had been to, and they tell me stories about walking off and going and get drugs and coming back. And I figured this place, if y'all are faith-based, y'all are going to be pretty serious about keeping it clean in here. And so, and it being 8 months, and it being, something just told me, I think now I can see it was the Lord working on me. Probably the most impactful single moment looking back, because like I said, I came here, I didn't believe in God. I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe in anything. And I was in second class one day, and I was with Dre Parker was teaching, and Dre said, well, look, you're still sitting here, man. I'd been here about a month. And Dre says, well, you're still sitting here. You got to believe in something. What do you believe in? And it took me a second to think. I had to really process it. And what I believed in, what I've always believed in, was love. I believe in love, and I believe that there's something that connects all people. Then after that, it seemed like every time I'd get into a Bible study or the class, or just constantly, the Lord kept throwing me that Jesus' only commandment is to love God, love yourself, love your neighbors. 1 John 4, another brother brought to me, because I had been praying for a while just to the God of love. I had started to be like, all right, well, I can go through love. I can understand that. I couldn't understand God, but I could understand love. And a brother came to me one day and said where he had read in 1 John 4, that God is love. If you don't know love, you don't know God. And if you do know love, you do know God, whether you realize it or not. And from there is really where I think my growth took off. It's insane, to be perfectly honest with you. I really, really believe myself broken and hopeless and without a future. I can't remember the last time I believed in myself or believed in my future. And I do now, through God, through this program, through Jesus, through the journaling, through it all. Has made me have faith not only in God, which is where it starts, but I'm having faith in myself now. I haven't been sober this long since I was 12 years old. I didn't get my life back through being here. My life became better. The way that they teach you about being able to communicate with the Lord, being able to learn from the Lord and hear from Him on your own is such a complete game changer that I just didn't believe would ever happen when I got here. It's the first time I've loved myself, and I don't know. I mean, I really don't remember the last time I've loved myself and believed in myself and believed in my future. The Lord's told me, He gave me a vision at the beginning of inner healing when I first truly accepted Christ as my Savior. He gave me a vision of being, I didn't understand it at first, but because He showed me a bright light with a torch. And I realized later on through journaling, He's called me to be a torch. I'm the torch, and I'm to carry His light out. I've always been willing to go to very dark places. Once I get studied and learned and know what I'm doing, He's going to use me to carry His light into that darkness. And that's really what my plan is, whatever that calls for.